Hi everyone and welcome back to Page 3 Hot Topics. I'm joined by two of the girls this week. Unfortunately, Jay can't make it, but hello, Chloe and Daisy.
Hello. Hi.
So obviously it's been a big week. This time last week we were talking about the final, England, maybe getting the chance of winning the trophy. And then unfortunately we didn't win the trophy and we saw some pretty ugly scenes and reaction online afterwards. So we'll be discussing that today. And I think we can all sort of say in an agreement it's been a pretty nasty few days on social media, and we'll be talking about the reaction, what we can do, what social media platforms can do as well. So girls, to kick things off, did you see the reaction online first off?
Yes, I feel like it was quite hard to miss, wasn't it? It was very around for everyone to see.
Yeah, and it wasn't very nice to see, and the fact that it's so prevalent even now, and it's 2021, and it's just disgraceful. And after all the boys did for us, how it turned so quickly is just disgusting, and the racism that they faced online. Do you think that social media companies should be doing more to stop it coming online? I'm so sorry, that's my dog behind me who's whining. But do you think that social companies should be doing more to stop this?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, they make so much money as it is, like through social media, and I think when they see a bad comment, their account should be taken away from them. Definitely, just straight away deleted account and stop this like once and for all.
Yeah, quite right. And obviously when on Instagram or something, if anything's spoken about with coronavirus or something, it does pop up and it says that there's a warning on it. Now, I don't understand personally why the same can't be for racist comments.
Yeah, completely get that. Like, how can it be one rule for one thing, one rule for another? There's so much more they can do, surely. Like in the world that we live in now, where there's so much technology in the world, I don't understand how, like you're saying, it's a warning for COVID, but not for anything to do with racism.
Yeah.
Quite. Yeah. And obviously, everyone was, up in arms and in shock, but the fact that there was a little bit of reaction as well from the government, but do you think that this could have been prevented, at the start, taking the knee, etc. The government were saying, they weren't very strict on what they said. They just said, get behind the boys. They didn't, say we agree with them as such. So Priti Patel came under fire for this as well, online, saying, why wasn't more done? Could have been prevented. Do you agree? Do you think that this could have been prevented? Tyrone here. You don't get to stoke the fire at the beginning of the tournament by labelling our anti-racism message as gesture politics and then pretend to be disgusted when the very thing we're campaigning against happens. Would you agree with Tyrone, and what are your thoughts on what he said?
Yeah, I do completely agree with Tyrone. He is saying, you're saying one thing at the beginning and now you've completely changed your mind towards the end. It's not how it works. Like, it probably could have been prevented, and what we're saying, social media companies could have done more. Should they have been working on this prior? Should they have been working on it? They should have been working on it ages ago. So, yeah, again, all the government and everyone saying one thing on one day, one thing another. They just need to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. And this conversation has been happening for so long, bear in mind. Why has it taken till now? Why does it take for an event like this to take place? It shouldn't have to be like per example. If you guys have got any comments about this who are watching, then obviously do let us know. Now, the Marcus Rashford mural, he's done so much for us this year. He's helped starving kids, etc., schools, education, people from really deprived families who can't be putting food on the table. And then after the game, to have his mural just completely, how can I say it, ruined after he's done so much. It's just disgusting. Ryan's got in touch. How can people claim to be a fan or supporting the team and then as soon as they lose turn so quickly and throw disgusting abuse at a 19-year-old boy?
Yeah, they're not a fan. They're not fans. They should be supportive no matter what happens. If they win or lose, they should still be supportive. It's our country, and if you support that, you support that. They're not a real fan if they're saying horrible stuff.
Yeah, and also, you know, and then afterwards, you know, when it got defaced, there were messages of hope, a message of kindness put on there, you know, getting behind Rashford. But, you know, it only takes a few rotten eggs. And the fact that they had the confidence and the arrogance to go and do that, you know, shows that they're still confident enough that they can get away with that kind of behavior in today's society. And, you know, 19-year-old boy, you know, they are boys, they're teenagers, you know, representing the country. And the fact that this is happening to them, it's just, it doesn't matter if they're an England footballer and they're on, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds, you know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you think Boris should be doing more here? You know, he's now come out and said that, you know, online racists should not be accepted into you know, venues which are hosting football stadiums. I mean, first off, that's going to be quite difficult to implement, because how do you do that? Because so many people are on fake profiles. But do you think there's anything more that Boris could do?
I think he needs to buckle down on the social media more, like what's going on online. He probably just sees the outside of it all and not actually sees what people put online more.
Yeah. And Sophie's got in touch. Would you vote for Rashford for PM? I mean, I personally would get behind Rashford for PM. I feel like he's a voice for the community, and he reflects what people think. What do you guys think? Do you think that you'd vote for Rashford?
Agree with you, Pandora. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, he's fab. He's fab. Now people have obviously, Brenda's got in touch. Not fans, just thugs. Yeah, completely.
All like keyboard warriors as well, though, aren't they? It goes back to the same thing all the time. People are so brave behind a keyboard. But again, if like Boris was putting in, I don't know, proper punishment, people aren't going to be running down the street saying that when they are easier to catch, if you like. But people are so brave behind a keyboard. I hate it.
I know.
Yeah.
TP Reed's got in touch. It takes a few rotten eggs. So true. There's no place for this. And there is literally no place for it. And what I find so astonishing is the fact that, you know, it's still happening. And do you think social media is now given a platform for these voices, which, you know, perhaps they would have, you know, kept slightly to themselves, but now they can get behind a fake profile, which, you know, they don't have to put their ID in to enter it. They don't have to verify themselves. You know, they put it in, and then they can type whatever they like. Do you think there should be some kind of verification process? I mean, Sophie's just got in touch saying, should people have to verify their profiles on social media? No more anonymous accounts.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you live in a world where you've got to do facial recognition on your phone, and, you know, the supermarket's filming you, everything you do, why can't you do facial recognition to make an Instagram account, a Twitter account, and then have the same kind of account when you go to buy a ticket to get into Wimbledon? Gosh, that really came out wrong. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, quite right. This is what I don't understand. You know, these social media companies have got so much money behind them. I just don't understand why something has not been done sooner. I mean, one of the things that was popping up was people sending emojis, which aren't words, but you can, you know, really, really horrible, and just spamming the footballers' photos, and I think one of the things was because it's an emoji, they can't really, you know, get rid of it or something, or, you know, monitor it or whatever. I think that's a really poor excuse. I think they've got enough money. I think they've got enough money behind them that they can, but will they? I mean, what do you think should be done? You know, if you were PM right now, what would you do? I'm going to go with Daisy first.
Oh God, put me under pressure. This is why I haven't applied to be the Prime Minister. But I do think there has got to be so many more consequences. I just do. I think people are so like, la, it's not going to happen. You know, I won't get caught, I won't get in trouble, I'll say it and whatever, it might get deleted. But there does need to be tougher consequences for people that are being nasty and people that are being horrible.
I think there needs to be like social media police.
Quite.
What, just social media?
there are, you know, moderators online, you know, I mean, my role, you know, as a social media editor, you know, some of our stuff, we have to respond to messages, you know, so surely you should be able to do the same if you're in charge of Facebook. You can report stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think it should come with some kind of responsibility. I mean, do you think that perhaps, you know, social media shouldn't be a thing? If it gives rise to racists online, do you think that perhaps just a straight out ban?
Yeah, maybe. I think it just
For everybody.
so much trouble, social media. But I don't know. I'd be upset if my social media was gone.
Yeah. I mean, maybe something, you know, if someone has been, you know, I don't know, has got a crime behind them, which is, you know, racially motivated, etc., then they shouldn't be allowed to open a social media account, perhaps.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
see, you should be
Yeah.
Prime Minister.
Hey, get me to number 10. No, but on a serious note, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that what we saw this week was absolutely vile, disgraceful, and this is exactly why, you know, when people are debating, which shouldn't even come into debate about taking the knee, etc., before the game, you know, this is exactly why they do it. If you didn't understand before, then perhaps you understand now, because even, you know, it only takes, you know, someone to lose, and then the coin gets turned, and then, you know, you get some really evilness coming out online.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, do you have any last comments on that, girls?
Stop being horrible.
Stop being horrible.
Yeah, be kind. Just be kind and support them.
Yeah.
They're under enough pressure as it is, like playing against the world. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Quite right. And they're so young. Actually, it shouldn't even matter what age they are, you know, should not face this abuse online. We asked you guys at home what you thought. So we'll take a look at the poll. Should social media sites be doing more to tackle racism? Yes, 94%, no, 5%. Well, I hope anybody who is watching on the 5% would now vote for yes. Quite frankly, but I mean, it was a big, obviously the poll, it's, you know, hardly surprising that nearly 100% said yes. I think we're all in agreement. And hopefully Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the sites will do more, because at the moment they're not is being done enough. Now, at the game, we did see Prince William, Kate Middleton, and Prince George, should I say, the future king. There he is. He looks so like his parents. There they are looking. He is in his little suit. He's looking very smart. Now, unfortunately, after the game, Prince George got targeted by trolls, more trolls, after the final, saying, ha 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 ha, hope the little twerp cries into his tie, along with someone needs to bully this kid just so he can grow up normal. I just don't understand why. I just don't understand why.
People are actually sick. I'm not even joking. He's a little kid.
You have to live a very, very sad life to get behind your keyboard and start going for I don't know how old he is. Like below 10, isn't he? He's tiny.
They must have a sad, boring life. Oh my.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the fact that, you know, the trolling was also happening to Prince George afterwards? I mean,
vile.
Disgusting. Like, it's absolutely disgraceful. Imagine if someone was saying that about your child, like, you wouldn't like it. Like, it's just pathetic. Who sits there and speaks about a little child?
I know. I just do not understand it. But then some people have said perhaps he got put onto, you know, a public event, which is going to be, you know, televised around the world, millions of people tuning in. He's so young that perhaps he shouldn't have been given this moment to like be in the limelight, and he should be kept out of the spotlight so much because of the trolling that he received after the game. He's so young that perhaps they just need to shield him a bit more until he's old enough to, you know, deal with it a little bit more, I'm guessing. What do you think?
I see that from both.
Sorry, you go, Daisy.
Oh, sorry, babe. I do see that from both sides, because yes, he is young, he can't defend himself, he can't go back, whatnot. but he is a royal. And, you know, he was getting all this abuse because he was wearing a suit. But so what? He looked smart. I think it was cute. They were matching. But you know, he was really enjoying the game. There's videos of him jumping up and down. He was loving it as well. So if he's got the opportunity, I'm sure a lot of people could say if they had young children and they had the opportunity to take them like Kate has, they probably would, because it was such an amazing thing to be a part of. So, you know, he shouldn't have to miss out on something because people are then going to be horrible and judge him and say he needs to be bullied, when who even thinks that? It's just awful.
I mean, it's just pure jealousy. They're in the royal family. People always going to them no matter what they do at the end of the day. So just let the haters hate. He's a little boy. He's so cute. He looks amazing. They've got nothing to worry about. They're just pathetic people.
Do you think that perhaps, you know, if you're in the royal family, that that it's just something you have to kind of deal with on like a daily basis? You know, there will be a tiny percentage that will just end up trolling you no matter what you do. Do you think that's just something that they just, you know, should just be like, fine?
Definitely, yeah.
I think it's sad to say that, yeah, you're going to have to take this. But yeah, like, unfortunately so. People are still always going to be horrible, and being that much in the public eye, people are always going to have an opinion. It doesn't mean it's right, but yeah, it's the world we live in, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. You said, Daisy, you know, the world that we live in now, you know, that is something that we just have to deal with.
Yeah.
Do you think that, you know, that is something that we just have to deal with? Or do you think, again, social media companies should be doing more? Or is that taking away someone's freedom of speech and freedom of expression?
So hard, isn't it? Because so many people will say freedom of speech and whatnot, but then people also should know the difference between right and wrong.
Yep, agreed with Daisy.
Yeah. It's one of those arguments that's going to forever be going, but it's something to think about. But let's take it to the poll and see what you guys thought. Should Prince George be kept out of the spotlight? It was quite mixed, actually. So yes, 46%, no, 53%. So I think obviously that's a lot to do with the age thing. But if you had to vote on that poll, girls, what would you have chosen? Yes or no?
I don't know. I think he's a little boy. He should live his life and just stuff all them people that are saying stuff. Like, it's not fair. I wouldn't hide him. We want to see him. He's gorgeous. Like, I don't know. I just wouldn't really hide him. I don't think. I'd just let him be. It's his life at the end of the day. Why are you going to hide over something?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he'll have to come out at some point and start doing more. So you'd vote for no. You'd vote for yes.
Yeah.
Daisy, what about you?
I think I'd vote no, purely because he's part of the royal family, and where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Does that then mean that because people can't be nice, he doesn't get to spend his time like a normal kid with his mum and his dad and his family, just to kind of keep him out the spotlight? I think it's all to do with the people outside the spotlight, to be nice to the people in it. You know, why should he have to go without because people are just being horrendous?
Yes. Agreed as well.
And you know what's really sad is that, you know, when you do an online footprint, it's always going to be there. So no matter what you do, people were saying, this is one of the tricks, you know, if you see a really horrible racist comment online, lots of people are brazen enough to keep their full name on there sometimes. Then you look up their full name on LinkedIn, you see what company they work for, and you go, did you know your employee does this on a public profile? Because a lot of them do keep it. And there was a couple of instances online, which I saw on Twitter this week, and the companies are investigating now those people. So you best think twice before you do it. Just saying.
That's great.
That's great. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and you can always report it. Just send loads of reports, and then hopefully in the end, it's there shouldn't be those comments anyway.
Yeah.
But even so, you know, if people talk about it enough, then hopefully some change will happen.
Consequences.
Exactly. So moving on from the frankly horribleness of trolling, on something a little bit more light. It's nearly Freedom Day. Yay. How exciting.
So exciting.
I'm going clubbing. Woo-woo.
Honestly, what's the first thing you're going to do? I mean, are you girls excited to go to a club, to a bar?
Yes.
What are you excited about the most?
Club, and to just walk up to the bar and not plan it all. Do you know what I mean? Like, order it to your table. I love walking up to the bar because I feel like you get chatted up more when you're walking up to the bar and you're in the queue and all that. It's more exciting. Like, I don't know, like you put your flirt on, you order at the bar and all that. I just don't know.
Swish on over.
I just like it. I just can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, you make a very good point there. The single life, you know, as someone who's also single, I totally get it. You know, it's very difficult to talk to people when you've got your mask on and they're sat all the way over there and you can't talk to them.
And you're
like, I've had a couple of instances when like someone's trying to talk to me. I'm like, can't hear you, love. Can't hear you. No, it's just not fun. So it's so much fun for, you know, single people and so much fun for people in general. Now, Daisy, what are you most excited about?
My lipstick not smudging in my mask.
Oh, my goodness.
I'd like to be able to go to the toilet in a restaurant, put it on in front of a mirror and not then get back to the table and be like, oh wow.
God,
yeah.
Not the
makeup all sweats off on that mask.
Yeah.
I hate putting it on. Like,
that is something actually men don't even think about at home. Most men anyway, they don't think about it. I mean, so it's the first time I've worn red lipstick in God knows how long before the pandemic, because I can't go out wearing lipstick now because by the time I've got it off, I look like a joker.
It's a hard word.
Yeah, I totally get it. And it'll be so nice to go out to a bar, right, and just be like, I won't even mind waiting in a queue for a bar. I used to hate it.
Does this mean we don't have to book restaurants in advance anymore?
Yeah.
Be like, should we hop in here? This looks good. I miss that.
And being able to dance on the dance floor. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Have a boogie.
Yeah.
Now it's mad, isn't it? Because like before the pandemic, Freedom Day, if we still got told, you know, there are some countries which are in an amber list, you know, you still need to quarantine, you know, you've got your track and trace on. And like you'd be like, oh my God, our freedom's being taken away from us. But now it's mad. We're going to have that, but we're still calling it Freedom Day because that's what we're so used to now. Sophie's got in touch saying, do you think people have forgotten how to socialize during lockdown? It's going to feel so weird being out again. Chloe, what do you think?
No, I certainly haven't. I'll be giving a few kisses out there and then, but cheeky little winks and all that coming back out. But no, I don't think people have forgot. Oh no, I certainly haven't.
No.
Yeah. No, I think actually people might go into the other end of the spectrum. I think people might be so excited to see people that they end up being friends with everyone. You know, the classic case of like going to the girls' toilet or something on a night out and becoming friends with the whole bathroom. Peter's got in touch saying, I can't believe adults are calling it Freedom Day. I think people are just so sick of being inside and, you know, being secluded and not being able to do stuff and not having a bit of spontaneity in their lives. And that, I'm not going to lie, I'm calling it Freedom Day, and I'm a 26-year-old woman.
I never saw it coming though. I feel like it's been such a long time coming. Yeah. It's like almost unbelievable it's here. So it's got to have a name. It deserves its own
definitely.
name.
It's going down in history, isn't it? So.
Or Chloe, I mean, you're going to call it Kissing Day.
Yeah. Flirting Day.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Winking Day. Day, Chloe. Let us know how you get on next week. But one of the things which has come out is the debate of masks. So I know on Transport for London that masks are still going to be encouraged to be worn, even, you know, once Freedom Day has come up. Now, I'm not sure about the rest of the country, unfortunately, but this might be, you know, rolled out across. But will you continue to wear your mask even though it's not mandatory? What are you going to do, girls, if you get onto a packed tube? Will you keep it off?
I thought Daisy first.
I don't get the tube for that reason, so I won't be wearing one in my car. I probably wouldn't wear one in a shop if you don't have to. Would also not be horrible to anybody if they decided to do that. I think, you know, at the end of the day now it's going to tie down to each person's individual opinion on it. But for me, I'm going to say no whenever I can.
Yeah.
Unless I have to wear it on a plane to go on holiday. Because that's not really
same.
worth it.
Completely agree with Daisy. Literally everything she said, same.
Yeah. Now, what would you do if you went to a shop, for instance, and it was super busy? Let's say it was like a sale or something, and it was really busy. I'm not used to being in super busy environments. Would you be like, oh God, I feel a bit uneasy about this? Would you put your mask on, or would you keep it off? What I mean, Daisy first.
If it was,
I'd keep it off, but you know, I would respect my surroundings. I'm not going to be like pushing into people in the sale rail and like breathing and coughing all over them. You know, I'd probably wait before I dived on in. But you know, that's what I mean. Where's it going to end? Do I have to always carry one around with me just in case of these situations and circumstances? But you know, like you've got to start somewhere. So I'm going to use this opportunity to leave the mask at home.
maybe if
I
it
might
was like
regret that.
maybe if it was like hella packed, then maybe I might just put it on quickly. But yeah, same with
I
Daisy.
don't know about you, but there have been so many times recently where I've gone out my house, I've gone down the road, and I've been like, oh. My mask. And then I've had to go back and go get my mask. You know, I can't wait to go down the road, forget my mask, and be like, oh, I don't have to go back to get my mask.
Yes.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
But we took this to the poll. Oh, hello, Ralph. We took this to the poll, and let's take a look what people thought at home. So, will you continue wearing masks even though they're not mandatory? Yes, 55%. No, 44%. Are you surprised by those polls, Chloe?
No, not really. No, I'm not.
It's become the norm and the regular for so long now, hasn't it? It's almost people are going to have to ease their way out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think we've been told so long, wear a mask, do this, do that, don't do that. Things have been changing. Especially, and now TfL are saying, you know, we recommend for you to wear it from the London Mayor. I think there have been so many conflicting messages, and I think obviously the pandemic's, you know, still happening. I think last week on the track and trace stat, it was the highest amount of people who got pinged to say that they should, you know, isolate in weeks and weeks. So it's obviously still happening. And even though the vaccines are happening, which is fantastic news, you know, you know, it's still there. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. So I think people are a little bit uneasy still about it. I think everyone should just take it at their own pace and be respectful of each other. And I think it was 500,000 in a week that got pinged on the track and trace app. So there's still, you know, a lot of people who still have got COVID, might have COVID, still haven't had the vaccine, etc. So, you know, it's still happening. And there are obviously countries every day. I mean, loads of people are in Ibiza at the moment will have to come back and quarantine for 2 weeks.
I know, I see that.
Yeah, that went on the amber list. The Croatia went onto the green list this week. But if you go to Croatia, then one of the rules about going to Croatia is that you have to basically be there for 2 weeks, and you can't really go around before you start traveling around Croatia, just in case you get something. So all of these countries have got different rules, and now they're saying you need passports on the app. So, I mean, I could speak about this endlessly, but I mean, things are changing by the day. So I think, you know, people say it's Freedom Day. I think people, you know, still might wear masks. But girls, I think that's all we have time for this week. I know there's so much to address.
Could go on.
But I mean, happy Freedom Day. It's just around the corner, girls. I know we're very excited. And then we can, you know, all meet up for drinks, etc.
And wear lipstick.
And wear lipstick. But we'll be back next week. And thank you so much for tuning in today.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Bye.